right, folks, I got good news and then I got bad news, but normally you start with the bad news. So the bad news, the Edmonton Oilers, losers of 5 in a row. They're also on the road, end of their 5-game roadie, taking on the 8th best team in the entire NHL. That's the bad news. The good news, we flipped the page over and we are done with February. We are moving on to March. That graphic of February, the big fat orange L's. Brett, we're not going to look at that ever again. We're going to start this month off with a big fat orange W. I also see some people in the chat already talking about that. We need a vibe change. We need something here for the Edmonton Oilers as they get set to take on the Carolina Hurricanes down in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hello, what up, and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, presented by Sherwood Ford the Giant, and is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, NATION. Let's kick it off in the chat here, and Blake is in. First comment of the day. Brett, you can also hit it for me. Says, shit, here we go again. Looked directly at this and went, well, we got to bring in the meme because, brother, I feel you. Getting ready for this one today, just looking at all the stats of the Carolina Hurricanes. Are kind of reeling in their last 10, but overall in the season, not really a team that you want to see at the end of your terrible road trip. I'll put it that way. Bob Stauffer says, nothing to say, just something to do. That's work. Let's get it tonight. Go Oil. Austin, you know him, firing up the band. He wasn't first, but he was in there pretty close. Says, all right, Bordzy, let's fire up this fucking band. The losing skid stops now. We got a job to do. My beers are locked and loaded. Let's go. Get the likes up in this chat, my ON fan. Austin, cheers. Brett, I know you're also digging in deep. We're pre-gaming with Bordzy. We're pre-gaming with Holdsy, as intern Payton put before as well.
Careful.
God, that's good. You can bet your ass that's an Odd Company Nation beer. Everyday lager. Southpaw says simplify tonight. Also, I've noticed a strong correlation with the lack of big orange W's and less barking on pre-gaming. Don't ask for the data on this. No, I trust you. I believe you. He says, release the hounds. Let's go Oilers. Well, he picked a good day to put that down when it's me and producer Brett Holden for all of 60 minutes pre-gaming. So, Brett, all right, the boys are ready to go. We needed that. You're right. We all need to dig in deep. We all need to do something different. Bosch also had the dogs and says, let's go. Oil up. LFG, 8-game heater starts tonight. No, the 16-game heater starts tonight. All of March. Come on, baby. We're doing it. Dylan says, let's go. Cup, yeah. Cup, yeah. And then Mr. Burns is here. Carolina has only won 2 games this month. Hopefully their bad luck lasts a little longer than ours. We got this. Then Bosch really made me laugh in this. He said, they're fragile too. Let's get in their heads and show them who's fragile. They're damn right. Other teams not doing well right now as well. Sasky says, fire me up, Bordzy. Kiana wants a new month full of big fat orange W's. Then there's Cup, yeah. Cup, yeah. Cup, yeah. Cup, yeah. And another Cup, yeah. And then Bella's in here and says, it's a beautiful day for some Oilers hockey. The boys are due. As I mentioned there, this for pre-gaming 60 minutes. We're pre-gaming with Bordzy. We're pre-gaming with Holdsy as well. It's the Brett and Bordzy show, if you will. So over under on Barks. I'm going to go 3.5. We've already got one, maybe even 4.5, but we'll go 3.5 here. On post-game tonight, we will be joined by Nation Dan, runner, king of hockey fights. He had some other things going on. So I said, fuck it. Why don't Brett and I just do this thing as the Edmonton Oilers? Haven't been doing great. Maybe our positive vibes will change some things. But Brett, we had a very, very hectic day today at Oilers Nation and the entire Nation network. It's a behind-the-scenes thing, but all of our emails got changed over last night to a different thing, which then had us lose access to basically every single thing in this company. But you can bet your ass Brett and Bordzy powered through, took our 2 brains together. They made one regular average size brain, and we did figure it out. So I think we're live right now. So we were able to get this done. Brett, how's your day been going so far?
Oh, it was a fun little morning. It was certainly a fun little morning. I was feeling it this morning as well. Probably a little bit of the hair of the dog, as you might say, happening as we speak. But yeah, no, I woke up in a frenzy. I texted you this morning. I was like, I don't think he's awake right now, but I, I don't have access to stuff. But we're here. We're 10 toes down, baby. Like you said, we put two brains, half brains together, and it makes one whole brain. And everybody's here now.
The boys are back. Also, Brett, you went to an amateur wrestling event last night. Please tell me more, because the Snapchats that you sent me last night, so much FOMO. You asked me if I wanted to go. I had other plans. Then I saw some of the Snapchats. That looked absolutely electric. And I need to know, you already told me when the date for the next one is.
Yeah.
I really hope the Oilers aren't in the playoffs or playing in the playoffs at that point, because that looked so sick. Where were you?
So it was at the old ranch. It was the Midway now, but so that
No,
was,
it'll always be the Ranch Roadhouse. Damn it. It will always be the Ranch Roadhouse.
I'm telling you, I had some memories walking. It was my first time since it turned into Midway, so I was going, whoa. But yes, it's called Top Tier Wrestling. Like you mentioned, I invited you out there. But we got VIP tickets. My girlfriend got it for me for Valentine's Day, but I knew she wasn't going to come, so I had to find somebody else to come with me. So yeah, VIP tickets. We were right on the stage where the ramp comes down. A couple of nation citizens were down there as well. Got to chat with a couple people. But like former AEW wrestler Santana was there. Got to meet him before and shake his hand, welcome him to Edmonton, everything like that. Effie, he's in GCW, and former WWE star as well, Reginald. He used to be known as Scripps. Now it's Sydney Akeem. It was a really fun time, really intimate, really small, fantastic time. Got into it a little bit. Again, old ranch days, something does it to me. But no, really interactive as well. I got like 4 or 5 wrestlers like screaming at me in the match as well. So May 2nd, back at Midway, they're back. No, not sponsored whatsoever, but it was great. It was a fantastic time. It was just what you love about professional wrestling, baby. It was great.
Professional wrestling, right? I always call it. It's soap operas for dudes. Like the female. I mean, it can make male or female, right? But that's more like your Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless, totally fake and scripted. Same shit over here with the WWE wrestling, whatever you want, and it's electric. Also, I can just visualize you. I've gone to sporting events with you. You're the loudest person I've ever met. Your voice carries like a song of a bitch. And
Yeah.
I can picture it now, you getting face to face with other wrestlers. Surprised you didn't get in the ring, boy. You'd hold your own.
Yeah, you know what? I think we might have to figure something out here and tag with some wrestling promotion here in Edmonton and get us in there. I think we could do a tag team match, but no, there was one time where his name was Harlan Abbott. I'll shout him out because he followed me on Instagram today because I followed him. But I was cheering for the other guy because he was from WWE, who I also got to talk to before the match. But everybody else was cheering for Harlan. So Harlan started going out there, and I was like, boo! And he goes, whoa, 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 and looks at me, and he goes, me? And I'm standing there, I'm like, boo! And points over at Akeem, and I'm like, yeah! Me, boo! Him, yeah! And just kind of shook. It was fantastic. Again, very interactive. There are guys yelling at kids. It was great.
Very interactive, very good wrestling. You know what goes well with wrestling? Odd Company Nation beer, everyday lager, perfect for game day, perfect for wrestling day, perfect for any day of the week. You can get them 2 Odd Company locations in the Edmonton area, downtown or Ritchie. Almost patio, maybe not almost patio season, because we know Edmonton will probably have another huge dump of snow, maybe even possibly 2. But when it is patio season, you'll be heading over to Odd Company. They got great food, obviously great beers. Cheers, because we need to dig in a little bit deeper, as I mentioned. But before we get into the Edmonton Oilers talk, we got to mention some trades that went down earlier today. It's trade season, silly season, rumor season, whatever you want to call it, SZN as well for all these seasons. But it's all going down right now. A couple GMs didn't want to wait for Friday's deadline to give me a more entertaining trade deadline show. I believe that there, but want to pull it up here for me. We'll do the first one, the Ryan Lindgren trade between the Colorado Avalanche and the New York Rangers. Colorado receives Ryan Lindgren, Jimmy Vesey, and Hank Kempf, sick name, while the New York Rangers receive So Parsonen, Calvin DeHaan. And then at the bottom there's a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick as well. It was reported that the Rangers, and I do think this is smart, their season's been so bad, they have some of these unrestricted free agents. They're not willing to let them walk out of the door for nothing, considering how bad their season has been. So they get those picks, which they can make work. A younger Juuso Parssinen, he's got 11 points, 37 games this season. The funny part is, this is the second time in 2 months that dude has been traded. He was dealt from Nashville to Colorado December 28th. Hope he did not buy a home or sign anything, because now he's shifting out to the New York Rangers. On the Colorado side of things, I think I like this deal. I think this is one of those, maybe not your number one deal out there, but it's a depth add in multiple areas there that can make you a tougher team to play against in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Lindgren, he's a solid depth defenseman, in my opinion. Nothing too flashy, nothing too anything. He has 19 points, 54 games this season, averages just under 20 minutes of ice time per game. But the thing that I think when I look at their daily faceoff back end now, it goes Devon Taves on the left side, Sam Girard, and then Ryan Lindgren, which is a pretty good 3 guys to have on the ice at all times when you're 5-on-5. Jimmy Vesey, that's a depth throw-in guy, and whatever with that. But I'm curious, Brett, your thoughts on the price that the Colorado Avalanche paid right now with the Edmonton Oilers, and we'll touch on it in just a minute. We're in this weird limbo state where we will they, won't they with Evander Kane. We don't know what's going on. In a perfect world, I think this is a trade the Oilers might be looking at, right? They don't have a first. They got their second, and you get a depth defenseman. But I'm curious, Brett, thoughts on the deal?
Yeah, I like your pull there. I like your little angle here because, you're hearing it a lot right now with the Edmonton Oilers, and seems like they might be able to only make one move. Well, okay, let's maybe get both a defenseman and a depth guy in that trade, right? So I like that idea. But with this, I said to you before we came on air, and I said I'm not a big Ryan Lindgren guy. He's very, very susceptible to getting beat real bad too. But I also like his physicality and what he's able to bring. You know me, I like a guy with a little bit of edge, a little bit of fuck you to you, excuse my language, but that's what he's a guy who just doesn't care. He just he fights for, again, one of those guys that fights for the name in front of the jersey, not behind. So I like that part about Lindgren, but outside of that, I don't think he's very defensively reliable. Jimmy Vesey, though, I've always liked Jimmy Vesey. I know he's bounced around, always been like a middle 6, bottom 6 type of guy. Still, I think he's always been able to bring that juice at the bottom of the lineup, whether that be kind of a physicality pest kind of guy. He has that in him, but more of a kind of checking, get to the front of the net, score a couple goals here and there, and everything like that. So, no, I like that, and I think it's a fair deal. I think you take a look at this deal. Juuso Parssinen, just kind of a guy, a warm body that you got in that Nashville deal as well. I believe it was Nashville, if I'm not mistaken, right? That he came from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Calvin DeHaan, just an older guy, whatever, it is what it is. And for the Rangers, I think that's nice to get for Calvin DeHaan again, or for Ryan Lindgren, getting Calvin DeHaan, a veteran guy who's been there before, done basically everything there is to do. I don't know if he's a cup champ. Has he won a cup, DeHaan? I don't think so, but, outside of that, he's been in basically every situation. Get a couple picks as well, like you said. Get their UFAs, get something out of their UFAs. So yeah, you know what? All around, very smart move.
Was Calvin DeHaan on the Tampa Bay Lightning when he won a cup? I don't know. Somebody in the chat figure that out. I'm trying to Google it, but I got to keep thinking. You mentioned there with Lindgren. I just think that is the physicality you mentioned. Third pairing defenseman in the NHL playoffs. That's what you need. That's what you're going to need for a guy who's playing 12 to 16 minutes, something like that, but he will be physical out there. Somebody mentioned here, we were begging for a gritty right D-man, and there he was. Now, he is left-handed, and he is playing the left side, so I don't know if it would have fit. And I don't trust Ryan Lindgren to just flip him like you do with one Brett Kulak. We'll get into the Brett Kulak discussion in a minute. Don't worry.
No, trust me. In theory, you say that, and that makes sense, but trust me, go watch Ryan Lindgren, and you will change your opinion.
1,000%. That wasn't the only trade that went down today, though, as well. There was Minnesota acquiring Gustav Nyquist from the Nashville Predators in exchange for a 2026 second-round pick. And this season, not gone the way that Nashville Predators fans, players, coaches, executives, not the way anybody thought that this one was going to go. They brought in Stamkos, Marchessault, O'Reilly the previous season, guys like Luke Schenn. They thought they were going to make some noise in the playoffs. They have not made any noise this season. So I don't know. You look at Nyquist, he's an expiring deal last year of a $3.185 million deal. He has been a large disappointment this season. I'd argue who hasn't been a large disappointment for the Nashville Predators this year. But Nyquist only has 9 goals, 21 points in 57 games. Now, for the Wild, it's a move, I guess, makes sense. They're a playoff team, but they're 21st in goals per game this season. DFO has them slated on the second line with Matt Bordzy. Who knows? We'll see how practice and everything goes. So could be some much-needed scoring. The point that I made before was he's 35 years old, has 9 goals in 57 games, and you gave up a second-round pick for him, Brett. Does that make sense to you?
No, but here's my bounce back to your 9-goal thing. 9 goals would put him tied with Evan Bouchard on the Edmonton Oilers, more than Matthias Ekholm, Adam Henrique, Brett Kulak, Connor Brown, Victor Arvidsson, Kasperi Kapanen, Vasily Podkolzin, Darnell Nurse, Troy Stetcher, Matthias Janmark, John Klingberg, Derek Ryan, Josh Brown, Travis Dermott, Drake Kajula, Ty Emberson, Noah Philp, and Matt Savoy. So what I think this deal really is in the far grand scheme of everything is this is a market setting move. This is a middle 6 guy, bottom 6 guy, mostly kind of middle 6, second line will probably slot in fourth line on an Edmonton Oilers type of team, but it just market setting move where, okay, this is going to cost you a second round pick. This is we're going to get into, and we can talk about some guys that are going to be on and available. This is what you're setting that market as for that type of player, a bottom 6, middle 6 guy who can chip in here and there, probably kill a couple penalties here and there for you as well. Not going to be a world beater. He's not going to change this game, but he's going to be chipping in for you. Maybe like maybe not a direct comparable for you, but a guy that is going to step in that type of sense would have been somebody like a Ryan Donato. But I think, again, this is just setting the market for that type of player.
I couldn't agree more. That's a market setting move. That's the first thing I thought when I saw it was like, oh, price is going to be steep. Also, Kiana said, ouch, that list hurts. Austin said, good Lord. Yeah, Brett didn't really appreciate that one right there. The other, so I guess that brings us, once again, shameless plug, trade deadline show coming up on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel this upcoming Friday, March 7th, 11 a.m. Eastern time, which means 9 a.m. Mountain Standard. This show already looks so good. I've been working my ass off on this thing behind the scenes, and boy, oh boy, it's going to be beautiful. We're going to be hosted by Ty Yaremchuk, Frank Saravalli and his Insider Cam. I don't know if I'm allowed to say any of the names that are also going to be on. I found out yesterday. Pretty dope. Got some pretty good personalities joining the show, so you can find out who they are if you tune in March 7th. Daily Faceoff YouTube channel, the best trade deadline coverage, period. You can take that to the bank with you as well. But that brings me to the Edmonton Oilers and their trade deadline plans, right? It's a very, very, very up in the air situation right now. And it all revolves around one man in Evander Kane. Stan Bowman, you kind of mentioned it. He might only be able to make one minor move at the deadline, or he also may be able to play with $5.125 million. It is two ends of the spectrum right here, and he's only got 6 days to figure it out. We heard the rumors before that March 1st was going to be the in-house deadline of Evander Kane letting the Oilers know, where am I at? Are you going to be coming back in the regular season? But once again, this is a very, very complicated thing. We had Frank Saravalli on the show this week. He also, which kind of realized some of my fears, he said, you need Evander Kane to play ball, and he doesn't have the greatest track record of playing ball with many NHL teams. Said he'd probably be near the bottom of that list, but damn it, I still believe. And I want to be able to cheat the system, just like I've seen the Tampa Bay Lightning and Vegas Golden Knights do. Come on, Evander, play ball, be one of the boys, rest it up. But I do understand, right? You're a competitor, you're an athlete. If you're healthy, you should be playing. There's a new wrinkle into this whole situation as well. And it started at 12:01 a.m. today. So Evander Kane had a full no trade clause in his contract up until 12:01 a.m. today, March 1st. Now he had to submit a 16-team no trade list. So the Edmonton Oilers could, in theory, deal him to one of those 16 teams. Now, I don't know if you would. I think as we get gearing up for the NHL playoffs, I'd much rather have Evander Kane on my team than not. But who knows what else is out there, and you need to be able to send some money in, some money out. Who knows what could happen there? But Brett, it's another wrinkle in a very up in the air, complicated situation for the Edmonton Oilers. I wish I could tell everyone that we have the answers of what the Oilers can, will do, and everything. But Brett, we simply just don't know. And it all revolves around one man.
Yeah, I completely understand this narrative as well, and I don't want to call it a narrative in a negative connotation, but it is. It's the narrative around what's going on. But yes, I understand it's Evander Kane, but Evander Kane, I think, also wants to win a cup. That's A. B, I think he likes Edmonton. I think he really enjoys Edmonton, and this is X amount of years now that he's been here, but has settled down, set some roots in the city, has bought a house. I don't know where people live. Has bought a house in Edmonton, has had grown his family here as well. I think he feels very comfortable in Edmonton. I think he's also the type of player that the Edmonton Oilers are desperately missing. But I think you can wait till the playoffs to add that type of guy into your lineup. It's not like that's an entirely lineup shifting move. This is a guy who can shoot and score from anywhere. A fantastic shot, a renowned goal scorer in the league. He's been able to do it for almost 2 decades now, which feels weird to say. Well, is it almost 2? Whenever the Atlanta Thrashers were still going around. So yeah, 2008-ish. Anyway. No, and again, he has that physicality. He will just get in your face, that fuck around and find out mentality. That's my third F word. I'm sorry, guys. But that's the type of player that he is. But that's also the type of play that the Edmonton Oilers are missing right now. But again, I think that's something that you can wait to the playoffs to add to your lineup. Here's the thing, and it's March 1st. Where this is supposed to be that pseudo deadline that we were all talking about. Not really pseudo, again, in a bad, fake way, but just the Edmonton Oilers need to know, are you playing or not in the regular season?
The internal deadline. The internal deadline.
There you go. Perfect word for it. Now we need to set our plans exactly 100% what we're moving on into this next week, into a week here. Not a lot of time to now, and it's not like I don't think the Edmonton Oilers are just starting to engage in conversations. I think they were already kind of getting their forks in the pans and wherever, wherever they could at the time. But I think you can very easily get them to sit there and go, okay, take another maybe week or 2 off. Tell us exactly how you're feeling. And okay, you're ready in 2 weeks. Okay. Well, now you can go on, or you can go for your 4 to 6 week, or 2 to 6, or 2 to 4 week, whatever. He'll be back then. Go for your conditioning stint. Oh, wow! Look at that timing. It's playoffs, guys. Dang. Well, he's been playing down south already. Let's bring him on up. So I don't think I think this schedule is already compressed enough that my prediction will be he will be starting game 1 of the of the playoffs, excuse me.
I would think so as well, right? And there's a lot of people in here. Mike, Oilers need Kane. Remember what 100% healthy Kane was like when he first came in? He was scoring a hat trick like every 10 games. It was fucking incredible. There's my curse word as well. Waddy, Kane return slots in as one of our best wingers, even if he's not 100%. I just hope that if he's staying, he'll be able to get up to speed by the playoffs. Yep, that's a worry as well, but that's why you mentioned the conditioning stint. But then Maynard, good point here, right? Because there is that cloud of whatever you want to call it around Evander Kane. And I understand it, whatever. You make your bed, you're going to have to lay in it. But since he has been in Edmonton, it's a fair point from Maynard. He's done everything right since he's been in Edmonton. He will continue to do so. And then, just because it's funny and we'll never agree on anything, Mr. Cates is in and says, trade Kane, he's a pill. So there's that one as well. I want to revisit this again at the end of the show, but it's hard to project or predict anything of what the Edmonton Oilers could do at the trade deadline because of this whole Evander Kane situation. So much is in flux. But we did get a new Frank Saravalli trade targets list. I don't want to show it now. This is a pregame show, and we've already killed 25 minutes of this. But people, if there's any potential deals, I already saw one was thrown in here as a potential hypothetical deal for the Edmonton Oilers. If you ever got anything on the brain, throw them in the chat, and Brett and I will kind of open them up here at the end of the show right after we do Bordzy's bankroll. But whoops, Brett, I did forget this was in fact a pregame show, and the Edmonton Oilers, they're hitting the ice in about 34 minutes. So the Edmonton Oilers in Carolina this evening. Both teams have struggled greatly recently since the Four Nations break, even before the Four Nations break. Now, I would say one team has struggled significantly worse than the other one, and that would be the Edmonton Oilers. They have now lost 5 in a row. You pointed out to me, and it just hurts to say, they grabbed 4 out of a possible 16 points in the month of February. That's why. Yeah, no, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want to see it because I can still see it down here in my tiny little window. I don't want everybody else to be subjected to that. But the Oilers, they're spiraling right now. Head coach Nobby called the team fragile earlier this week, which is the younger brother of Soft. We've seen frustration from Connor McDavid. Basically every player in that entire room. Nothing's going right. But they're not the only team that's struggling right now, damn it, because Carolina is 4-5-1 in their last 10 games played. They did beat Buffalo 5-2 on Thursday. It's Buffalo. But they had lost 5 of their last 6 games prior to that. They were spiraling, and would you look at that? Other really good teams struggle as well during the dog days of the league and right after the Four Nations. Now, no excuse. And as I mentioned, one team looks much worse, considerably worse than the other one does. But this is the final game of a 5-game roadie for the Edmonton Oilers. It's kind of tanks near empty. You're going to try and empty the tank, and you're going to do so without Darnell Nurse in the lineup. He's expected to be out yet again with your backup goaltender in Calvin Pickard. So, Brett, I ask you, where is your confidence level heading into this one tonight?
I don't know. So I guess it's probably 50-50.
I was going to say 50.
So for me, and the real reason why I think it is 50-50 is I think they're going to come out a little bit. My biggest thing is like, you can lose these games. You mentioned good teams go on breaks. These go on bad streaks. They play bad hockey. That's fine. But you know me, my big thing is how you bounce back. That's the biggest thing, how you respond. My biggest thing in life is how you learn from things, anything that happens, good, bad, anything. If you're playing well, what's making you play well and helping you win games? Let's focus on that, and also focus on the things that, we allowed this goal, this here, where we were shorthanded, whatever. And then we can prevent those and still continue to play well. On the flip side, if you're playing poorly, okay, what are we doing that's making us play poorly? Let's focus on that and try and correct that. But on the flip side, there are times in the game that we are playing well. We are able to get sustained pressure, force pucks deep, force the other team to make mistakes and take penalties and everything like that. Let's try and focus on that and try and make sure that we can get that back into our game and get the stuff that's losing, or that's more forcing us to lose, out of our game, right? So for me, it just feels very 50-50. It just depends on how they respond. They hear it. They hear what everybody's saying right now. They hear it's, this is a fraud team. They're not going to make it again. Well, what's the biggest thing that Leon and Connor, the leaders of this team, Darnell, Zach, all the leaders of these teams, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, is saying we need to get back to the Stanley Cup? Well, now everybody's sitting there going, you ain't that team anymore. So how are you going to respond?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm laughing in the chat right now. Evander Kane has entered in, and he said, did you just call me a rat? You're lucky I like you. The shit that's been talked about me since I've been gone at Oilers Nation. Never a rat, but also then Mr. Cates is in here right now. Just just ripping Evander Kane right to his face about how he doesn't think he's an asset for this team. He said Kane isn't a beast anymore. He's streaky, sulks too much, takes stupid penalties. The guy hasn't played hockey in like a very long time. So I don't know. Whatever. We'll just continue to move along past that one. Let's go now to our need to know information, courtesy of Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size, and you can get their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. For more information, head to wilhawkbeefjerky.com. I could do that ad read in my sleep, brother. That one's just implanted in here because Wilhauk Beef Jerky is so damn good.
I've seen you do it at your desk, like just out of unprompted, like genuinely. That's not even a joke. You've genuinely done that. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure I did that 2 days ago. We were just casually sitting around the office, and I was like, it's a bar, man. It's a great ad read, but need to know information for the Edmonton Oilers standings watch. Da-na-na, da-na-na. The Edmonton Oilers still 4 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas at 76, Oilers at 72, each with 59 games played. And then you got the LA Kings right on the Oilers' ass, 2 points back with 2 games in hand. But shout out to Dallas Stars because they did beat the Kings 6-2 last night. Specifically, shout out to Sam Steele for scoring a goal in that one as well. My dog from Strathcona County. Playing in Carolina, it's been a challenge for the Edmonton Oilers in recent years. The Hurricanes have won their last 3 games against the Oilers at home by a combined score of 15-6. So it wasn't even close. Edmonton's last victory in Raleigh, 4-3 overtime win back in February 2020. That feels like a lifetime ago. That also would have been right before COVID hit and ruined the entire NHL season. This will be the second matchup between the Oilers and the Canes this season. The Oil, they lost 3-2 in overtime back on October 22nd. Sebastian Aho scored the game winner with 7 seconds left in overtime. Stuart Skinner had a 9:09. Connor McDavid had 2 goals, and they still lost. They actually had a 2-0 lead in that game, and then blew it with 3 consecutive unanswered goals there. And then the Oilers, they are not going to be making any lineup changes tonight besides the goaltender. I mentioned Darnell Nurse continues to remain out. He's day-to-day. He went crashing hard into the boards against the Tampa Bay Lightning, so we hope he's okay. He never traveled back on his own. He's been with the team the entire time, so you have to think that that is good news. But then the lineup in front should all stay the same, meaning Matt Savoy will sit out a second straight game and watch from the press box. Not sure how I feel about that one. There you get a look at his stats so far in 3 games, 1 assist, 12:30 ice time. He does have 3 shots as well, but we'll kind of discuss that one more in detail when we go through the Oilers lineup. And then the other change, Calvin Pickles, he's getting the start, making his 20th start of the season, 14-6-0 record, 269 nice GAA, and an 896. And then the Carolina Hurricanes, 34-21-4 on the season. Second in the Metro, 8th overall in the entire NHL, 1 spot up on the Oilers. But as I said earlier, they are 4-5-1 in their last 10 games. They will be at full strength. Only 1 injury on their team, which is William Carrier. He hasn't played since January. He also averages 11 minutes of ice time. So they're going to be fully loaded. And then the strengths of this team is basically everything. They are 8th in goals per game at 3.25 per game, which is exactly tied with the Edmonton Oilers. They're 2nd in shots per game at 31.8 behind the Edmonton Oilers. Again, they're Canes 7th in goals allowed per game, 1st in shots allowed per game, 2nd on the penalty kill. The only thing that they are not elite at is their 22nd ranked power play, which is at 19.8%. And then Mikko Rantanen, I guess this is the Oilers' first look at him in a Carolina jersey. He was on pace for another 100-plus point season. He had 64 points in 49 games with Colorado, but he's struggled since being acquired. Him and the team have struggled significantly in 9 games. Rantanen has 2 goals and 5 points. And in those 9 games, the Canes have gone 3-5-1 over that stretch. Rantanen, curse Don't bring him to the Edmonton Oilers. No, I'd still take him on the Edmonton Oilers, but that's never going to happen. Finally, Freddie Anderson gets to start for the Canes. 6-4-0 record. Remember, he got injured, had a knee injury that kept him out for like just under 3 months this season. It's been the Kochetkov show for much of this year, but Freddie's in. He's also, good news here, lost each of his last 3 games. So come on, baby, give it to me. Yeah, I'm going to grasp at straws of any sign I can get here, because I mentioned those Carolina stats. Looking through them as a whole this season, I was like, oh no, brother, oh no. Let's go now, though, to our Sherwood Ford Giants storyline, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giants. Hockey fans helping hockey fans. Free valet service for all Oilers fans. Never visit the dealership again for car service. Get an exclusive swag package with every Nation Valet service. Booked online and automatically get entered to win a monthly prize draw. Book online at sherwoodford.ca. Oilers Nation fans, your hockey destination is Sherwood Ford. Also, are they calling us Brett Tato in the chat right now? Something like that?
Brett Bordato?
Brett and Bordato.
Bordato?
So, you guys can do better than that.
That's not bad.
My storyline heading into this one.
It's because it's Waz. That's why.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go. That totally makes sense. Hi, Waz. Nice to see you again. Throw down your courtesy like as well. Hope you had a good night last night. Heard you were at Greta Bar Yag, Waz, because you're a company man, baby. You're supporting all the sponsors here on Pregaming. But storyline being, Brett, nice and simple. Empty the clip. Unload the clip. Empty the tank. Whatever you want to do. You're at the end of this road trip. The odds are stacked against you. Like I mentioned, backup goalie, no Darnell Nurse. This entire team has looked lethargic and lost at points. Besides Leon Draisaitl, they're going to continue to roll with the no line blender, the same thing, and we will touch on that in just a second because I think that's significant. Straight up, just empty the tank, put everything you have into this game, because if we enter Tuesday, and I'm using the words must win and Anaheim Ducks in the same sentence, I'm going to put my head through that fucking wall behind me right there, because this is getting out of control, a situation I never thought we'd be in. I say that lightheartedly, but empty the tank tonight. What about you?
Yeah, no, I'm behind that as well. It's, again, I kind of mentioned it as well with just earlier. I forget what I was talking about, but you've heard the conversations now, and you've heard what Chris Knobloch has said. You've heard what Connor McDavid has said, what Leon Draisaitl has said. You've heard it. Go out and play. You want to win this Stanley Cup, right? You were a goal away from even bringing it into overtime to be another goal away. So go out there and act like it. That was a good game against the Florida Panthers, their best game in that 5-game stretch and their best game since they came back from the Four Nations break. So start building off on that. It's the good old adage that my once baseball coach, that I won't mention what else happened afterwards, as always said, keep your foot on their nards, keep it going, put the foot to the gas pedal and push. Keep it going. Like, again, I mentioned how you just have to learn and be able to bounce back. Perfect. Bounce back and show you were that team, the best team in the West. A team that so many people have said can be and is the best team in the league at times. So go and show it. Go and show it again. Aren't you a little pissed off about the narrative and what people are saying about you right now? Show a little pride. Go out there and change the tide a little bit.
Because, Brett, it's a cup, yeah.
Yep.
Rusty, the reckless optimist. Also, I'm seeing some funny stuff in here. I got to say, Maynard just randomly saying, hey, Waz, how's the hairline holding up?
Yikes.
Out of left field. I love it. He said we're in a 5-game losing streak. Everything's available to be chirped right now, and I totally understand. And then I saw the cup here, but we do got some super chats in the chat right now. Bert, reminder, all of your super chat donations are in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. The Oil have been losing lately, but you guys have been supporting through and through. It doesn't change, win, lose, or draw. And you're on Pregaming. Bob Stauffer, $6.99, says this Kane beef is heavy. Kane ain't going nowhere. We got to get this win tonight and build off last game. Jay Skin's goal tonight and Connor's back. They are going at it right now. I've been seeing it. Guys, these are alter egos. You're not actually the people. Actually, no. That is Evander Kane fighting sock puppet Mr. Cates in the chat right now. Bosch is in. Pregaming gets out of control, brother. $13.99. Thank you. That's a nice donation. I need Pissy Leon, Prick Ekholm, and Angry Jerk Perry. McDita, shoot. Rico to hit someone and RV to limit his time on bum. Big orange dub to make my profile pic smile again because Cup, yeah. Bosh, is that Kenny Banya from Seinfeld in there? I'm pretty certain that is. Please let me know if that's awesome in there as well. And then Mr. Burns is in with $5. Boys need to roll up the rim of this cup year. Boys need to roll up the rim of this cup year and win it. Cup year.
But I just want to say, by the way, I went to order roll up the rim today. Nice little warm drink that I haven't ordered in a while, and my girlfriend took it off the order. Not to shout her out or call her out or anything, but I was upset because I wanted my roll up the rim. I wasn't actually upset, but you want that roll up the rim.
No, I'll call her out right now. I'll call her out right now. I don't want to use her name because I don't know if you've used it, but hey, I'm sure I'm so loud she can hear me in the background right now of your house. Oh, another one. $10 from Paul. He says, I want to hear La Bamba.
Yes.
It's been a minute. Holy shit. Now that you say that. Also, says, it sure is, Banya. He's gold, Bordzy. Gold. That's a reference I hope only Seinfeld fans will get. Bert, pull it up for me. The projected Edmonton Oilers lineup. Only got 19 minutes left on this one. But top line, Nuge, McDavid, and Zachary Martin Hyman. Then it's Jeff Skinner with Leon Draisaitl and Victor Arvidsson. Third line, Brown Mark featuring Rico. Then your fourth line, Pod Colson with Kapanen and Corey Perry. I'm curious if we will see Kapanen maybe not taking some draws. Who knows? I mean, whatever. Then we look at the decor. Hit it for me. Ekholm with Bush, Kulak with Klingberg, Troy Stetcher with Ty Emerson. So kind of the big news today, I guess you could say, Matt Savoy, health bombed yet again. A lot of people talking online were upset about the scratch. Why is Nobby not letting his young guy get the run with the big dogs? Why is he even up with the big club if you're not going to be playing him? Which I think is a fair question, especially considering the Bakersfield Condors are in the midst of a playoff push right now, and those would be valuable games for a 21-year-old in Matt Savoy. But who knows? He's looked good with Leon Draisaitl, right? He's shown the flashes, but he still hasn't really been given that consistent and meaningful ice time. We looked earlier, averaging 12:31 time on ice per game in his 3 games. We showed his stats earlier, but I'm curious how you feel about the health bomb, because I was more than okay with the scratch on Thursday. He had played 3 games in 4 nights, right? He's still a young guy adjusting to the NHL, and always beneficial to watch from up above in the press box. Maybe the game will slow down. I'd argue he's also looked 10 times more dangerous than Victor Arvidsson has at any point in any of those games. But this is the top 6 that you were looking at and penciling in when you started the season. Also, do we have the tweet from Tyler in here as well? It's in the very back, because he said, I'm trying not to let the Matt Savoy thing ruin my Saturday, but holy fuck, is that ever just a stupid decision? Play the kid. I love when Tyler curses, especially online. But the point I want to make, right, I do understand it, that Matt Savoy, he's a good player you want to be in. The only one that I would entertain really is Victor Arvidsson, but I do think there's a little maybe hypocrisy, irony, and a little bit of that, right? Because a lot of discussion has been made about Chris Knoblauch and the line blender. He does it too much. He's too inconsistent with the lines. He won't let certain guys cook. But now we're here really upset that he's not playing a 21-year-old Matt Savoy in the top 6, a 21-year-old rookie, right? And I do get it because of that Arvidsson argument, but we've begged for consistency. We've begged for Jeff Skinner to get this spot in the top 6. This was the one, this whole top 6 alignment, what we thought we'd see at the beginning of the year. It did not last very long. We've been asking for consistency from Chris Knoblauch. We now get some consistency from game to game, but here we are complaining. But I get it. It's kind of twofold, because why else is Matt Savoy here if he's not going to play? Everything's a little bit messy right now. But the point I make, as well as you could say Savoy, I think he's only going to hit what you need him to be if he's playing in the top 6, right? He's not a bang crasher down low. You could put him in that RB slot, sure. where else could you put him? Maybe next to Connor McDavid in the Nuge spot. But Connor McDavid's been struggling lately. We've all bitched and complained, wanting them to go back to Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman. And now we're going to get it again here tonight. Also, Nobby, he did have a quote he said about the lineup. It's not necessarily the lines right now or the personnel. It's just getting the most out of everyone. Everyone stepping up their game a little bit. And, I thought our compete level was better in the last game. Execution was a little bit better. This road trip hasn't gone nearly as well as it should have. We're not playing to our level. But like I said last game, we made a step forward. We've got to continue doing that. And we still have areas to improve on. I get it why he's not in the lineup, because we got 40 minutes of good puck in the last game, which is a lot better than previous games. But Brett, I'm curious, that was a long rant. Where do you kind of come out on the Matt Savoy being health bomb tonight?
No, and I agree with you in what you're saying, with the fact that you're not bringing him in and you're not playing him on your third line. You're not playing him with Adam Henrique. You're not playing him with Kasperi Kapanen and anywhere, Matthias Janmark, Connor Brown. You're playing him to be on that top six line, or in second line with Leon Draisaitl. But what I think you're also doing here is your best game again in this 5-game streak has been that last game against the Florida Panthers. Perfect. Run it again. The Carolina, exactly. Build off of it. The Carolina did not just go and win the Stanley Cup last year. That was not as an emotional game as it was for the Edmonton Oilers against the Florida Panthers in this game against the Carolina Hurricanes, excuse me. So again, like you said, go and build. I agree that it's good to go and see a game from up top and just see how fast the game really is, especially for a guy who is now familiar to the system, familiar to the team that he's on. Go up there and go and see exactly what it looks like from up top, and now you can imagine yourself in that game. Oh, I have a little bit more space. Oh, that's where Leon likes to go a little bit more. Okay, perfect. But I think this also is a little bit of not a tester or prove it or hey guys, here's Victor Arvidsson. Look at my child. I'm a my child. I think it's kind of like that, It's like, look at what might happen here. And he may end up like Deebo Samuel and end up getting traded and whatever, So nice little, you like that? Deebo Samuel just got traded to the Commanders. There you go. That's what I was
for a fifth.
For a fifth. Yeah, yikes. So hopefully the Edmonton Oilers get a little bit better of a compensation out of a trade for Victor Arvidsson. But I think that it is kind of what you're seeing here. Hey, Victor Arvidsson can play top 6 minutes, guys. Yes, he has a little bit of cap hit, but he can play top 6. Look, he's playing next to Leon Draisaitl. Take a look. But in the same breath, I also think it's them going, okay, go and prove it. If you can really play with Leon Draisaitl, we have this kid who has proven already that he can play with Leon Draisaitl. Are you going to let this 20-year-old kid take your spot? Go and prove why he shouldn't take your spot right now.
Yeah, I'm just seeing some people in here. Christopher Palmer, keep the blender in the pantry. Stop the line blender, trust the knob, F the blender. And then my blender is making margaritas, says Paul. So that's a hell of a Saturday. Evander Kane said he also likes my shirt. So that's a positive because, as we all know, Evander Kane's got good style. Let's go now to starting goaltender report. We got to go fast through all this. Home of the $50 biweekly ATV, or be on a boat next summer for as low as $105 biweekly. Hockey fans, helping hockey fans, the fine folks at Sherwood Power Sports Marine. It's almost summertime. They got all the coolest shit out there. That's all I can say. Every time I walk in there, I want to buy everything. And you can have an ATV or a boat for as low as $50 biweekly or $105 biweekly. Goaltending matchup, it's Calvin Pickard against Freddie Anderson. Calvin Pickard, right? He's lost each of his last 2 starts, each of them being a sub 900. But let's not forget, he won the previous 6 starts before this streak of losing 2 in a row. Normally his matchups are a little bit more cherry-picked. This probably isn't one of those cherry-picked matchups, so Picks is going to have to dig deep and can't allow one of those stinkers he's been known to do quite commonly. Also, Carolina, I said it earlier, they rank 8th in goals per game and 2nd in shots per game. Buckle up, buckaroo, Calvin Pickard, because I think you're going to be seeing a lot of rubber. The other side, Freddie Anderson. He starts, I mentioned, he's only had 10 starts. This is his 11th start on the season. Kochetkov has had 36 of them. Even since Freddie Andersen's been back, Kochetkov has kind of taken the number one job here, because since Andersen's been back, it was January 17th, he's played 6 games. So I understand there's a Four Nations in there, but looking through it, it's all Kochetkov. He's lost his last 3 games, but he did beat the Edmonton Oilers earlier this season on October 22nd, only allowing 2 goals, both scored by Connor McDavid. He stopped 33 of 35 for a .943 save percentage, but his knee better be bummed right now because the boys are coming for him. Brett, anything to add on the goaltending?
18-2-2 in Freddie Andersen's career against the Edmonton Oilers. You want to know what else about Freddie Andersen about the Edmonton Oilers? He has 3 points against the Edmonton Oilers.
What?
He had 1 point in his debut against the Oilers, then got another one in his second game against the Edmonton Oilers, and then got another one, all with the Anaheim Ducks, by the way. But 18-2-2 against the Edmonton Oilers with 3 points. So if it wasn't bad with him preventing goals, he is also setting them up.
Well, that sucks. Let's move along to the Greta Bar Yeg away lineup, brought to you by Greta Bar, because people, we got flight night coming up March 14th down at Greta Bar Yeg. You go to nationgear.ca, you get your ticket for this event, and then when you come down to Greta for this one, Edmonton taking on New York for this hockey game, also presented by Fountain Tire. Shout out to Fountain Tire, shout out Greta, shout out everybody. But dude, you can just buy a ticket to this event. You come down, it's going to be an awesome time. We're going to have all kinds of prizes, giveaways, all the stuff that we do. We know how to throw a party, okay? If there's one thing we know how to do, it's definitely party. But you could come to this event and walk out with a ticket for you and a friend to come on the nation vacation for free. Well, I guess for your ticket, they just put in the Greta Bar Yeg, but that's the greatest deal you could ever imagine. Don't walk, run to nationgear.ca right now. Get your ticket for this bad boy, and then you can party with Brett and Bordzy. You can pregame with Bordzy and Holdsy. I think we're gonna have a good time when we're out there in Vegas, Brett. You said the Elite 8 starts when we're there, right?
Oh, yeah, and I've been watching a lot of college basketball lately, brother, so I just missed out on my 4-legger today. Just missed out. Shout out Syracuse for ruining that for me, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Imagine joining us at the Circa Hotel in the pools because you ordered pizza taquitos and we're now watching the Elite 8 in the pool. Grow up. Come on.
Come on. I like grow up there. Grow up. Get your ticket. nationgear.ca. That's the last I'll say there. Then let's take a look at the projected Carolina Hurricanes lineup. Top line of Andrei Svechnikov, Sebastian Aho, and Mikko Rantanen. That's got some name value. Second line, Jordan Martinook with Jordan Staal and Seth Jarvis. Team Canada championship. Not a big deal. Then he's back, baby. It's Taylor Hall with Tyson Yost, who's actually the cousin of my roommate. It's a very weird thing, but
what?
Shout out Tyson Yost. Hope he has a terrible game. Jackson Blake on the wing there. Fourth line, Eric Robinson with Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Jack Roslovic. And then you look, this decor, shit. Jacob Slavin, who was a monster in the Four Nations with Brad Burns, Dmitry Orlov with Jalen Chatfield, Shane Gostisbehere with Sean Walker on the third pairing of this team. That's why they don't allow many goals. Bert, let's go quick. I'd ask you for your player to watch, but I'm going to go first. It has to be Jacob Slavin, because what I saw in the Four Nations face-off tournament, without a doubt, in my opinion, that guy's the best shutdown defenseman in all of the NHL. Every time Team USA needed a play in the defensive end, you go, who did that? Of course it was number 74. I also said no chance in hell that that name is actually American. But, I mean, who knows? I don't actually know that. But he's my player to watch. He's going to be stapled to 97 all game long. They have last change in Carolina. So get used to seeing a lot of 74 on the ice this evening. Bert, what about you? Who's your player to watch?
I have a couple here, so I'm just gonna kind of blow through it. Just watch a guy get knocked out. That was sick. Seth Jarvis, obviously. I love Seth Jarvis, one of my favorite players in the league. Great personality, but just one of those tooth and nail type guys. Jordy Martinook, I also want to give a quick shout out to him. Fun guy to watch. He can do a little bit of everything. And Grew up, born and raised in Pigeon Lake, where I actually went to and worked at a summer camp. So shout out Jordy Martinook, obviously Taylor Hall. He'll be a part of my Spider and potentially revenge game. And Jackson Blake will be the last guy that I give kind of a shout out to, kind of similar to Mackie Samoskevich that we talked about against the Florida Panthers. Played on that Chicago Steel team. Fantastic Chicago Steel team as well. Love Jackson Blake, son of Jason Blake, who is just a defensive shutdown king center. Fantastic hockey player. Loved Jackson Blake just for how freaking boring he was. So I want to see how Jason Blake was. I want to see how Jackson Blake can translate that into his NHL game as well.
Yeah, you mentioned you have ties to Pigeon Lake because you were at a summer camp there. I have ties because I got drunk on a boat there. So that's basically the same exact thing. Shout out Pigeon Lake. Shout out to him as well. Also, Southpaw says Jarvis, great friends. Yeah, the guys who drove like 30 something or however many hours it was to get to Boston for the Four Nations final. And the point I said before, his buddies look exactly like my buddies. They're just the most average, just Canadian bros. They're all wearing snapbacks. The one guy in the photo is holding like a rum and Coke in a glass, like cup. And I was like, is that Julian? Like, is that Julian? So Canadian. Loved every bit of it. Shout out to them. Seth Jarvis, love you. Hope you have a terrible game this evening. Let's go now to Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today and use the promo code NATION. Hit it for me, Bert. I feel good about these ones today. So maybe the tide will turn. My first option is a Bouchard shot prop over 2.5 shots on goal, currently plus 125. Bouchard had 5 shots on goal in the last game against Carolina. He has registered 3 shots on goal in more than half of his games this season. Crunch the numbers, including 7 of his last 11. He also hit this Thursday against Florida. Say what you want about Bouch. I think shots going to be hard to come by, and I think Bouch is going to be loading up from the point all game long. Pucks on net. If that isn't the message yet, I don't know what's going on. Second option, well. Would you look at that? They're offering a Brett Kulak blocked shot bet now on Bet365. So you know I had to hammer that bad boy. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks on Thursday, putting a healthy lead between me and Brett on the tattoo bet. He's also still elevated in that second pairing role. Shout out to that. I fucking love looking at that. And Brett Kulak, straight up, let's say it, he's coming off his best game of the season. He was the best player on the ice on Thursday, which is not ideal, but shout out Brett Kulak. Final one, Zach Hyman. I threw him with his broken nose in this on the graphic because I want to get some of that Zach Hyman back, right? I want that guy back. Over 2.5 shots on goal, plus 115. I think there's great value on this, that this is plus 115. Kind of shocked me. Hyman has hit this in 2 straight games. It's no coincidence he's done that because he's been on Connor McDavid's wing for the last 2 games. So I like it at plus 115. Parlayed together. Nice, juicy, plus 550. Bert, which of those do you like the most? And then hit me with your Spider.
Spuda. I'm going to go. I like Hyman with the shots. I think that would probably be the one. I'm just hesitant on Bush because he's.
You don't like the second one?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't like it. In fact, I don't like it so much that it's on my spider. But if going with yours, I'm going to go with Hymes over 2.5 shots. All right, you want to hear my spider? Perfect. I'm going to tell you anyways. 7 legs. So again, caught in a demented family. Doesn't have a front incisor. Front left incisor. Oil money line. Leon over 1.5 points. Nude, I was saying to you, I'm feeling it's a Nuge night. It feels like a Nuge night tonight. And probably, you know what? It feels like a 2011, 2010 draft night because I also have the Halsey goal as well. Just got to show some love to the boys here. You know what? I also have a Bush over 2.5 shots here. I feel very hesitant on it because I just think he's felt very hesitant lately in shooting and just hasn't been very confident as a hockey player lately. So we'll see if he bounces, if he turns it around, the rest of the team turns it around. I think it might be that's probably exactly where it starts. So could be kind of the turning of the tide here. Over 4.5 goals. And Kulak. I went with the over.
Of course you did, because you have a brain. That'll do it for us for pregame with Bordzy. Before I head out, do want to tell you, people, Saturday, you don't want to cook. Order some Oodle Noodle. Download the Oodle Noodle app. Order takeout or delivery. It's easy, and you can earn free Oodle Noodles. Sign up for their loyalty program. Sorry, our loyalty program. I bleed Oodle Noodle, goddammit. You cut me open, and it's just straight noodles and wontons. I've been eating it so much lately, but customers get 1,500 loyalty points when they sign up, which is $15 in value. The Oodle Noodle app available in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. That will do it for us. The Brett and Bordzy, the Bordzy and Holdsy. Come on, that was awesome. I mean, Brett doing double duty. Shout out to him. He's the best because he's producing and he's co-hosting at the same time. My boy, multifaceted, Swiss Army knife, much like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He's having a fucking night tonight. Let's go, Bert. Score prediction, anytime goal score. Hit me, then we'll bounce.
4-3 Edmonton Oilers. As I mentioned, I'm already going with Nuge. And
I was also going to go 4-3 Edmonton Oilers, so I'm going to continue to ride with that, and I'm going to say Jeff Skinner revenge goal, because why not, baby? Let's see it. That'll do it for us. Love you all. Throw down your courtesy like on your way out. And then reminder, stay right here on the ON YouTube channel, because we'll be going live for Oilers Nation After Dark right here, right after the game. Nation Dan should be joining me for that one, but we'll have Bert hop on as well, because hopefully we're breaking down an Edmonton Oilers big, fat, orange W. Kiana's looking for some W's. Frankly, so am I. I love you all. Over and out. Good luck.